Hey, welcome back. Hi, Dee. So good to see you, sweetie. All right, so let's jump on in. I wanted to go with just whatever the message is that the universe wants to convey, whatever needs to be um, sent out, whatever might pop up. So we shall see. We start out with the 10 of Wands. This could be a message that it's a really good idea to lay down some kind of heavy burden. This could be a great time to relax energy, to release energy, to unstress. We have an Ace of Wands, and to turn one's attention more to the great unknown, and also to life itself. And, finding the, let's put it this way, this is old stuff that has bothered us that we can get caught up in, and always trying to rehash old stuff and thinking that we still have to live in past hurts, pains, wounds, kind of detracts from the ability to get excited about the present and about the mysteries that we get to solve in our lifetimes. The mystery of us, the mystery, the Sphinx is the great enigma. So it's the thing that is, well, maybe somebody literally wants to figure out more about the Sphinx, and it's like it's hard to give all of our attention to other present mysteries if we're always tangled up in things of the past. And the Ankh here, represents literally our life. This is about passion. It is time to do what someone is passionate about. And I'm going to apply this in a more specific way because this is about passion. Hi, everybody. So great to see you all. Sierra. Hi, sweetie. Hello to your girls. um, it just looks really awesome that maybe we have passion specifically, like love, matters of the heart. If we're always caught up in, well, I had this problem with an ex from the past and it, made me upset and I had these things that I had to work through. I mean, absolutely give yourself time to work through the hurt and the pain. But at some point, also know that there's 8 billion plus other individuals on this planet that might all treat you a hell of a lot better than whatever you had in the past. So it just says, this is such gentle and positive encouragement that there's more excitement, there's better lovers, there's better than what you've had, especially if what you've had was shitty. And I just, oh, this is great. It's about moving forward. This could be a pretty powerful message for a divine masculine to go for it. And this could be a heavy message for the divine feminine to let go of any burdens so that, let's put it this way. If she's releasing stuff, that means she's unburdened, she's moving forward. If he's, getting over stuff, that means he's moving forward. And where they meet in the middle just might be the land of mystery and passion and excitement. That's pretty darn good. All right, let's dig in. Actually, I think there's where we should change decks. Let's go ahead and take a closer look. Tell me first about our Emperor in the Chariot. He could be a Cancerian, doesn't have to be. Fool card, very nice. He could be an Aries. Super brave, super. I'm hearing awesome travel rock out music. Like somebody's got their mixtape for this journey. He could literally be taking a trip, driving across the country. He could be taking a chunk of time and saying, here I go into the kind of wild unknown. I'm chasing down some things that I've always wanted to do. I have this distinct impression, and by the way, this is not supposed to be one of our specific messages. I was a blank slate. I didn't have any thoughts in my head today. That's why I said, okay, what's a message that needs to come through? Universe, however it goes, it goes. I didn't want it to necessarily be about love. I didn't feel like that was right. By the way, we'll see you guys tonight at 10 o'clock in the Night Owl Club. Everybody's welcome, by the way, but I always tend to do a video late at night at about 10 o'clock. And everybody who shows up, we just collectively call everybody the Night Owl Clubs, or as they call themselves, the Hooters. But I didn't get to put out a video for the last 2 days because I was gone a little bit. So I just wanted to do 2 today. But this one was just, I didn't know what it was going to be because I had no thought in my head. And I didn't want it to be love. But it's maybe everything. If this is starting to get specific, because I feel like we have a masculine, possibly somebody with dark hair. I feel like he may have 1 or 2 dogs or 1 or 2 cats, but he may be somebody who likes animals. He may be choosing to go with his own animal instinct and just move forward into the direction that he wants to go. And I think he needs to take a trip somewhere. He needs to do a combination. This is not just about oh, I need to go get to a lover. This is about, I need to go do something. I need to go somewhere that I need to go and explore something, a place that I've wanted to see. And maybe this is just as simple as there's this one hike I've always wanted to go to, but it's 3 states away, 3 provinces away from where I live. I'm going to go ahead and take that journey. This is like him just claiming, I need to go do this. I got to get to that one spot where this beautiful view. It's not even for like the Instagram selfie thing. It's just, I got to do this. It just feels like the right time. So super empowered. Okay, so he may have a destination in mind, though. He may be headed to wherever this Queen of Pentacles is, or she could be another stop on his journey. But I just keep feeling like he's traveling. I feel like he's got his music bumping. I feel like he's in whatever vehicle he likes driving, and I feel like he's taking a trip. He may make it a several-day trip, maybe a 2-week trip if he can swing it, but he is traveling to go do something that's important to him. He's got stops along the way that have just to do with him connecting to nature, him connecting to his inner thoughts. I feel like this can be a road trip that is so amazing, but ultimately, yes, here's his destination at the end of the road trip, whomever our Queen of Pentacles may be. Can we jump back? Let's change decks again. Let's go this route. Tell me about the 10 of Wands at the beginning there. We have got the integration. Okay, so there's actually a King of Pentacles. It's integration of somatics. Oh, and I love buffaloes. I just got a shirt with a buffalo on it. We've got this 8 of Pentacles here. It was in the reverse, though. And if you look closely, we did have, like a family of bison. We had a couple sitting here, like watching the bison, and they were kind of sharing the same hammock, but this is in the reverse. Here's what I actually think. This may all be his story. He may have been one of the children on this first deck. He may remember the complications of family life, and maybe what was set for him was, relationships are hard, relationships between married people or, partners. It's very difficult. He may have come from a fairly fractured family. He may not have seen a lot of stability, and that might have ingrained in him. Sorry, my hair it keeps climbing into my mouth. But he may have found again and again that in his childhood, it set a pattern for what he imagined relationships are all about. His mother might have been very sad. She might have had some, great mom maybe, but certainly had maybe some difficulties in romance, and that may have set a tone for him. Now, on one hand, perhaps it made him into a really great man. Sometimes when we see what our parents didn't succeed in, we end up saying, man, I want to be kinder. Or if we see how much, a parent was wounded, as we grow up and we get, an adult vision of the world, and we start to like compassionately understand, wow, I saw my parent or the other being heartbroken, and I'm going to be a better man. I'm going to be someone that doesn't break somebody's heart. I'm going to be more stable, more solid. But I do think what he's realized at this point anyway is that it shouldn't have to be that hard. Whatever was patterned to him, if he came from a broken home, if he came from a family where, there's a lot of struggle, a lot of stress, a lot of even negative communication about family, about romance, I think as a grown-up, he's decided something really important, especially right now, which is, Mom, Pops, it shouldn't have been that hard. Maybe you all had some problems of your own. Maybe you guys struggled because you had your own traumas you brought to the table. Maybe you guys picked the wrong person, the match in each other, even though you're the only reason I'm here. But it really shouldn't have been that hard. It shouldn't have been that toxic. You two should have maybe figured out how to choose better, but maybe that was as far as you could go on your journey. It's not to like trash talk moms and pops, but again, all humans are just humans. Doesn't matter if they're our parents or not. They only got their skill sets that they got in their toolbox to work with. And what's great about becoming an adult is we don't have to look at our parents and be like, wow, you guys sucked. It's more like, oh, you made it really hard on yourselves. Maybe you even never got over some of the tough stuff that you went through, but I can actually change it for my own pattern of life. That's what it feels like. So this is actually all his story. I didn't know that at first, but that's what this looks like right now. Like we got a great man here. He is like stable and secure. Maybe he's got the, and power of the buffalo, or the spirit animal of the moose. He definitely has. I'm picturing somebody who smells really nice. Now, I mean, I think men smell great as a whole. So it doesn't matter if they're in cologne or not. It's just like, they smell different than women do, and they smell nice. But in particular, he may smell like a wild creature somehow. I don't know. Sorry, side note, but that's what we got. There is a sense of like kindness and stability to him. There's a sense of, I'm going to say quiet power, but he has broken some generational patterning. And I really think the biggest thing is he doesn't run. He's not somebody who is scattered in his energy. He's not somebody who doesn't know what he thinks. He's not somebody who, maybe he was before, but it's just not who he is at this point in this story. This is like a freaking catch. And he's so certain. King of Pentacles to Queen of Pentacles. He knows exactly what he wants. He knows exactly where he's headed. So let's go back to his journey a little bit right now. Okay, so we have the Devil's Shame in the reverse. He's got no kind of toxic anything going on within him. He's not tangled up with a karmic. He's not holding on to an ex. He's not choosing any feminine or masculine that he's got to struggle with. This is such a great message. I think that this is the pivotal card in this whole thing that explains him in a nutshell. It doesn't have to be that fucking hard. Romance, life, bonds, togetherness, it shouldn't be that hard. We're creatures who, should be able to be whole in ourselves, but also complement each other. If you choose another person who's like thinking the same way as you, that's it. It's that simple. You can get through struggles together. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. You don't have to fight and struggle and wound each other. If two people care about each other and they aren't intending to wound each other, and they aren't, still half broken, then they can probably be pretty good together. And I think he's just taken it really, he's distilled it down to the simplest truth, and he's operating within that. And it's making him really solid. He's free of all that toxic negative thoughts of, it's going to be damage. It's going to be a destroyed relationship. There's obsession, there's exes, there's stuff I can't let go of. He is totally like, his aura is clean. His energy is solid. He is aligned. He's more here for something that's like, he's also excited. He has a good opinion now of romance, of what partnership can look like. 8 of thoughts. It's 8 of swords. It's the only stuck energy to come out over that Ace of Wands. This is the adventure he hasn't yet let himself have. This is kind of new for him. I would say this is pretty new for him. And we've got these adorable, like little sugar glider creatures hovering around him, which I think are just adorable. They're kind of like, they almost remind me of like little gremlins. Oh, Denise, you angel. You are so sweet. Oh my God. Thank you, love. Denise, thank you always. You're so generous, honey. I love the fact that I got to meet you too. You guys, thanks everybody for being here. I feel that way about everybody. It's really nice to have such an awesome community of people. I feel so lucky. But a lot of you I've known for such a long time. I mean, I've known you, right? It's online, but still, it's really awesome, you guys. Thank you for making my life better. The fact that we have this 9 of Swords in the reverse, I feel like he's in this place where this adventure of like healthy, happy pursuit of a healthy, happy relationship with a healthy, happy mindset, that's the thing. He's there. He's arrived. He hasn't ever like approached relationship like this before. There's always been a cloud, a shadow somewhere in his mind. It's just not there anymore. There's no more flying monkeys tearing out his mind. There's no more, things to dismantle. He's been maybe most of his life assuming that it was always going to be, you can get into romances, but probably always hold back and probably always assume that there's going to be problems. He doesn't feel that way anymore. That's why that devil is in the reverse. This is so beautiful. I don't want to talk anymore about how whatever he overcame from like family or generational stuff, because we don't want to insult his parents. And it could have been specifically kind of some stuff to do with his relationship with a mother figure. That is not to say she was toxic. It just says maybe some of her very valid hurts and pains kind of like oozed into him. And if he's a very like sensitive, emotional, and caring individual, which we know he is, he may have really absorbed some of that. And that could have been something where all of those thoughts could have held him back until now. Until now, he's very much a full grown up. I think he still probably has a great relationship with parents, a more compassionate relationship with parents, specifically a mother, but he's not like devoting himself to trying to make a parent happy. So it's not like he's bringing a third party into a relationship of his own from, like I have to still care first about my mama more than I can care about my own lover. There's none of that. There's no like transferred of responsibilities onto him. He is compassionate and loving, but he's really not bogged down by anything, not guilt about, choosing to live his own life. I feel like he could be great as a family man, like great as still caring about parents, but having like nice boundaries where, it's not going to become like he's in a relationship with a parent and his romantic partner. Those are two very distinctly different relationships. That's really, that says a lot also. I don't know if I've explained that very well. But I think you know what I mean. So I'll leave it at that. So we have got, hang on, I actually have to read it up right. The integration of spirit, which is the King of Wands in the reverse. I said I didn't want to talk anymore about family stuff, but I will say either this is his own version of himself that he's made peace with, or this is who he saw a father figure as, which could have been a very selfish, arrogant. This is oftentimes our most attractive king who knows it, but they use their attractiveness to get what they want at the cost of anything and everybody. It's, I'm entitled to it. I'm this, I'm that. People should give to me. Now, sure, this could have been a version of himself at one point in time as well. We know that he's not this person anymore, but he certainly knows that that exists, either because he combated that in himself, or perhaps that was the image that he had like of a father figure, possibly. Six of Pentacles. He did, I'm sorry, we can't escape some of the parental aspect of this story. Maybe because, remember, this is his journey. This says he needed to make peace even with his father figure as well. He may have had a bad relationship with a father who could have been pretty selfish, thought that he was like this swaggering one in a billion. And I only say that because, it's the red panda is pretty amazing. It's pretty unique. And it's the truth of it is we're all very unique, but sometimes people get it in their head that they are the most special thing that ever walked the earth. And they don't have room in their heart to love anybody. His father figure could have been competitive against him. His father figure could have been someone who was like desperately selfish, which is also where someone's greatest weakness is, right? When you have to be, you got to feel special. Like, I'm the best person in the world and people have to feed me that. So I have to find people that validate that. Otherwise, I'm going to fall apart. He may have come to terms with that in his own father figure and realized Pops had a lot of like unhealed stuff in himself. Maybe he was thought of himself more as somebody that would challenge me instead of be a father figure to me, even if he was in my life. So it's the hardest thing to wrap one's head around, I think. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I think it's really hard to understand how a parent could be jealous of their own kid, right? You two are not contemporaries. A parent is supposed to be the one who loves and protects their children. If anything, like, how amazing that you help create this life, but then that life is also sovereign from you, and it gets to, your child gets to figure out who they're going to become. And they'll be different than you, but there will be some similarities, and they may outshine you in a lot of things, but you should be their greatest supporter. So when somebody is jealous, even of their own kid, and this mothers to daughters, fathers to sons, or it doesn't matter what relationship, gender arrangement we have, that could have been a massive head trip for him. But he had to make peace with that somehow, even to the point where he could still love a father figure that was jealous of him his whole life, wasn't supportive, saw him maybe as someone that, again, was like he either had to outdo him, or maybe he never had a kind word to say, or maybe he cut him down. And yet, look at how amazing this King of Pentacles is. Something special. The fact that he can wrap his head around all of this and understand his parents as people was a huge component of him healing and becoming this amazing King of Pentacles, who we know is walking his own path. This is a good man. This is a good guy. It could be a woman as well, but I'm going to keep saying him because we got strong masculine energy. And what he is ready to pair up with his feminine, who will be his true match. And we can see why he would make such a good match. He's not filled with pettiness. He has this huge depth of like understanding of like humans, without needing to say, oh, but my parents did this, they broke me, my dad was selfish, therefore I have a right to be pissed and I have a right to be selfish with other people. And no, he's breaking all those family like behaviors, because he is not just a product of his parents, he's his own man. That's why I'm saying, wow, what an awesome person. And he found a way to even understand. I do not think he ever had much of a relationship with his father in this role. Maybe late in life, but it's a desert scene. And there's maybe just a small moment where he got to interact with a father figure. Look, camels are known for spitting. So I'm going to say plenty of times, I think he got not a whole lot of support, even though I think he tried to give love to a father figure. It was a pretty big desert. I think they maybe had a little teeny tiny space of time. Maybe I feel like his father's on the other side. In this story, I know it's very specific, but that's how it is. I feel like his father's on the other side of the rainbow bridge. I feel like they only got a little bit of time where they maybe started to find a bond or an understanding in what was otherwise a long life of dry desert. No communication or sideways compliments, always laced with a little bit of an insult. He's finally at that point where it's like, that's all right. You know what? I know where my pop's kryptonite was, and it was unfortunately in their own confidence. He, in the nicest of ways, I think he realizes, without being arrogant, I think he realizes he was a stronger man than his father was. That's amazing. And I think he's spot on with that. And he's obviously a stronger man because he's able to forgive so much and just understand it. Okay, so as you move forward, Six of Wands, I feel like this is probably the lightest he's ever felt. This King of Pentacles is really feeling, I wonder if this is why he's ready for a relationship now. If he's worked himself through these thought processes, if he's dealt with all of the different, meandering energies that he had to get through, these thoughts that he had to learn about, these, accepting what other people were in his life, but then accepting he's not just a product of that, destined to repeat, parental cycles. He's really proud of himself right now, but now he's thinking about the ladies, okay? Because he's sure he can have a successful love story of his own now, which to me, that's the greatest thing. What a relief. We have like a wild stallion back here. We have this feminine who's dancing her sexy dance, and he's like, I do not have to have a cursed relationship. I am not cursed in love. I am actually going to have a very different outcome than my parents did. Curiosity of spirit. Here we go. This is that Page of Wands. This is him on the move. Here's the Justice card, and we got the eagle bringing it in. This is so much energy of I'm ready to balance stuff out. He is, I don't think I've ever seen a character who comes across more like heroic, more excited, more competent. Now, if he at some point already knew her, and he very well may have, I only say that because we got the Justice card, it may not have gone well because he hadn't yet worked through everything that we just saw him have to work through in regards to his parents. Now that he's done that, that's why he feels so confident and competent to actually course correct something in his own life. And if you notice, we've got flying creatures in both of these, right? We've got, again, this sense of action and movement. That's exactly where he's at. This is him moving forward. The dragonfly is action and movement forward. The bald eagle, by the way, they have great vision as well. So we have like that sharp eagle-eyed. He knows exactly how to fix his own outcome. He knows exactly what to do for himself. He knows exactly what path to take, and he has zero fear about this. If he needs to course correct something with a character that he loves, with that Queen of Pentacles, he's absolutely confident he can do it now. So we've got this Knight of Pentacles, slow moving. We've got her riding on the bear. It's almost like, although it's taken time for him to get to wrap his head around some of this, and we can see why. Come on, it was a lifetime of experiences for him to disassemble, understand, chew through, and then kind of detach himself from, and then be able to move forward. Like that's a lot of, I'm not going to call it a dark night of the soul. I feel like this was just an intelligent man's like ability to mature and see his life and his own like environment for what it was, and then also allow himself to like forge a new path for himself. But for him, he's thinking long term. He's thinking about building with her. Remember, this card comes in after the Justice card. So to take time to get to know this Queen of Pentacles, to take time to build something strong, a solid bond. He's not rushing in, even though we see him moving pretty fast with both of these cards. It's more moving forward with confidence and without fear toward her, and then wanting to build something that is super strong, super stable, step by step, piece by piece, because this is the way you build a better relationship. He's not overly romanticizing anything, even though he knows that he's got a person in his mind that he believes is just right for himself, right? A King and a Queen of Pentacles. He firmly believes that this is the right person for him. And we'll ask about why does he believe that in just a minute. But she is single. She has her own sense of pride. She maybe is the kind of person who's made her own life what she wanted it to be. And he may really admire that about her. He may have seen her as somebody stable and secure. Maybe he realizes that she came from something similar. She's wrapped her head around her own upbringing and the problems within it, and also evolved into her own person with her own intentions on how she wants to live her life. He may have seen her as kind of a solo individual, somebody who's got her own personal, like, I'll say, behavior or her own, convictions. He knows she's independent. She may also have been like financially independent for like a lot of her life. Hey, Dwayne, good to see you. Unique to Freak in the house. Good to see everybody. We've got a 10 of Pentacles. She is his happiness. He knows that. And keep in mind, giraffes are super unique. All of their marks on their the pattern, they're as unique as our own fingerprints. So each of these giraffes are just as individualized as humans are. And we got like the two giraffe necks crossing, and then we've got these two sitting there. So he knows there's something about her. We see him knowing that he matches her, right? As a King and a Queen of Pentacles. We see him knowing that he matches her as far as her independence goes, as far as her choosing to live life on her own terms. And now we see him saying, and that's exactly why I think that we are a great match. Can I just ask anything about the past? Is there anything that he wants to tell us about the past? We've got a 2 of Swords and, also a Page of Cups in the reverse. So clearly these two have not spoken in some time. And it was on her side, at least in this storyline. She may have, she's the one in red. That's like a big old red stop sign. Stop. Nope. Don't want to hear it. I don't know if he owed an apology that he didn't give. I don't know if she just didn't want to hear anything more, but it was full stop in this situation. Did you already love her? Did you already have a chance at a relationship with her? Emperor, yeah, he had a chance to marry her. Okay. And, he really did love her even then, even if everything went to hell in a handbasket, because he was super serious about her. But the Justice card is here. It did go to hell in a handbasket. Okay. I love that bumper sticker. Where am I going and why am I in this handbasket? We got the 9 of Swords. Okay, so something I'm going to say, as we got to do the callback to the whole family stuff again. He meets her somewhere in the past. And it's like, this is my person. Like, I want to be in this relationship. I want to be married. I want this very serious connection with her. But oh crap, serious connection. That means horrible dysfunction. That means it's going to end up just like my mom's and pops. Oh crap. I'm freaking out. I'm stressing out. Something will go wrong with us because, it's been ingrained in me that things go wrong. I'll start acting like an asshole. You'll start hating me. It'll be a miserable connection together. Somebody's going to do somebody wrong. I can't trust you. Maybe his parents were pretty toxic together. All I can say is he started to freak out because that Nine of Swords is like, here's the rainbow, and now here's the fear. This is where everything went horribly awry. What was the Justice card? Because that is like, an imbalance, a wrong that was done. Wheel of Fortune, actually, what's crazy? This was exactly the right thing to have happen. Even the fact that he meets her and it's like, I want to be super serious. This is like the relationship for me. And then freak out. The universe is like, yeah, that's what was supposed to happen. So meeting her, feeling like this is really serious, this is really important, triggered him to possibly go through this like journey of evaluation. He needed to work through this. The universe is like, that's why you met her, because it was a perfect time. You were willing to go through a big transformation. We have the Lover's card. You were willing to go through a big transformation because you met her, and she triggered you to go ahead and look at the fallacy that you were steeped in with, relationships have to turn toxic. We're going to be miserable together, even though I really love her and want to be with her. But serious long-term commitment. He could have been a commitment phobe, or he could have just had it in his head. He may have had failed relationships previous to her as well. But this one made him say, she's my other half. And holy shit, it's going to be a nightmare. Everything's going to go wrong. But the universe is like, that's why it was time for him to address that. Where did that messed up idea come from? You are not your parents. You do not have to believe that it's going to be destroyed. But he did have to shed that, and this is Year of the Snake. So maybe he's just now coming out of this, but it's going to be like night and day. His belief system around love, his belief system around relationship, he's not going to suddenly freak out, get guarded, pull back, run away, start to, like go into panic mode, even though there's nothing to panic about. Because I don't see that these two had problems until he made a problem, which was probably coming from the freak out of, oh crap, this is something really good. This is somebody I would really want to be with. And then it's going to become hideous, just like it was for my folks. That's a really good indicator that, like, I need to look at that. Where on earth did that negative belief come from? Why do I look at love as something that instantly I flip it over and I go, it's going to be a disaster? That is not the way it's supposed to be. At least I don't think is the way it's supposed to be. I mean, I know it can be, but that's a really good thing for him to have chosen to work through. And now we can see, I don't think anything but this love would have made him work through that. So that's super positive. And this might have been just the perfect time to change that mindset. Maybe, the universe says with the Wheel of Fortune, perfect. We know that this sucked. We know that the working through the thought process sucked. We know that getting triggered sucked, but so worth it to do the work to get through that, so you don't believe anymore that that's how it has to be. Okay, so then he bounced. He walked away. Well, that makes sense, because of course he had to. And if he was withdrawing anyway, that's probably why she was like, if you're not consistent, then you need to go. I don't want to talk to somebody who doesn't know. You say you love me, then you're going to walk away. You decide you love me, but it'll all go to hell in a handbasket. What the hell is that? That would be really hurtful for her to have to go through, for sure. And it may have stressed him out that he, believed that. But he definitely did this. He did her wrong in, I think, letting his mindset, his programming, kind of torpedo this relationship. But the universe says, yeah, but it kind of had to happen. Not that she should have had to get hurt or anything, but sometimes we don't make big change in our life until we have a really good reason to do it. And on one hand, we could say, well, she was his really good reason to change that. Now, we haven't even talked. Maybe she had similar things to wrap her head around. We don't know. She seemed to be kind of a bit of a loner with that Nine of Pentacles. Let's get, I didn't want this to be so long, but I always say that on this channel and they always get super, super long. I have to leave in a little bit and then get to come back and do some zodiacs later on tonight. But Princess of Swords is sideways on her part. Part of her, she's a good like student of nature, but she doesn't always understand how to put the data together. She's good at observing. A Queen of Pentacles would be. Queen of Pentacles is generous and kind. She knows that people have their own journeys. She can absorb information, but unless you have the decoder key to understand it, all you did was just say, okay, I watched them do this. I watched them do that. I watched them do this. They said they loved me. They said they wanted to be with me. And then I watched them freak out and run away. I don't know why they did this, but I can certainly observe they did all that and I didn't change. So something clearly happened for them. You know, she can absorb a certain amount of information, gather it, but without being able to put it all together, without the you know, extra, like I said, the decoder ring that lets her read the pieces of the puzzle as a whole. All she sees are like, this happened, then this happened, then this happened. She's astute enough to pay attention to the sequence of events. But I think at some point she's like, I'm done thinking about this person because all I can tell you is what happened. I can't tell you the why. She seems like a linear thinker, which would make sense, especially if she's been somebody who's kind of like had to figure her own life out on her own to a certain extent. You know, you get good at like working with facts and kind of separating out emotions and trying to be like fair and balanced and trying to string things together, but only if you can understand it and you know that you have all the facts. Otherwise, you just collect the facts and you go, when I find out the rest of the story, that's when those facts will make sense all put together. We got an Eight of Wands. She does tend to keep on going. She may be very artistic. She could be the kind of person who's like, look, this world is made up of many, many, many different experiences, many different people. It's a rich palette of colors. Let me continue on in life. I assume I met them for a reason because they were a colorful spot in my life. They certainly made me put on my big old blood red skirt. So they made me have a big reaction to them. So I know they were important. But other things are really important too. So I feel like she's kind of the type who keeps on keeping on and only deals with what facts she had at the time and has to like allow herself to keep chugging along until something fits the pieces together. Six of Wands. She's gone on to be pretty successful. She does work hard, possibly a little too hard. And I only say that because she's a Queen of Pentacles. They tend to grind away at the foundational stuff, but they are the people that make the world go. They do the factory jobs. They build the factories. They make stuff happen that then makes a bunch of other like scaffolding possible for other things to build. She's like a super important, like foundational person, but she's proud of the kind of scaffolding that she's helped create. She could have been somebody who, let's say she's the person who works doing the hiring at a company, you know, and it's like, if you don't hire great people, if you're not a great project manager who knows how to get the team to all function in their separate components and then pull it together, you don't have a finished product. But she may be really good at being that person who creates a scaffolding and gets all the cogs and all the wheels moving together. So she's happy with the kinds of stuff that she's done. She definitely seems like somebody who works with a lot of different people, a lot of different moving parts. Again, that would make sense to me for somebody who's good at saying, you know, let me see all of this. Let me see how I can fit it together. If it works, it works. Other things that don't work, let me set those other facts, truths, or valuable people off to the side until I can integrate them in a way that makes sense. I feel like her brain works like pieces of puzzles that you don't try to jam them together. If they don't fit, you have to accept it for what it is. That's a beautiful chunk of a puzzle, but it doesn't fit in, at least right now. And I think she operates in life like that, in work like that. It's great because it allows you to have the ability to say, sometimes we're going to be the puzzle piece that doesn't fit. Like, I know I have value, but I don't belong in that job. I know I'm talented at certain things, but that's not the right group for me to be a part of. Knowing that about oneself also, I think, is really important. And I feel like she's that type of person where she can comprehend that. Three of Pentacles in the reverse. She definitely has had to set things aside, things that weren't working at that time. And I'm going to say him because we got ammonites here. Ammonites are ancient sea creatures that are fossilized. I love ammonites. I have some for like necklaces and rings and such. I think they're really beautiful, but they are associated with the past, right? And instead of her brain working overtime with all the little ants coming along and taking grains of sand away and burning a hole in her damn mind, she says, okay, I dealt with him in the past. I never got full answers. I know it wasn't working. I have to put the past off to the side because he's not in my present. It doesn't mean I forgot him, but I also can't afford to sit and burn holes in my brain thinking about him. I can't let thoughts of him and wondering what on earth happened destroy me. I have a lot of other people and a lot of other things. I got to carry on because who's going to take care of me if I don't take care of me? So I don't have the luxury of sitting around immobile and thinking only about him and trying to figure out the mystery of him when he's not here and he doesn't want to be here right now. He doesn't want to tell me what's going on. So I have to put him out of my mind because who's going to take care of my life other than me? Because he sure as shit isn't here to help me. You know, I'm sorry, I'm being a little bit sassy, rude, but I'm trying to speak from the viewpoint of somebody who seems to be down to earth, factual, not mad. She's actually really good. She's really happy, but she's not going to pull any punches about, you know, let me keep trying to figure him out. I don't know. Maybe he's an ass. Maybe he's wonderful. I have no idea because he didn't tell me. So I don't get to make up fantasy fairy tales about he's wonderful, he's coming back, he just had to go do some stuff. Nope. He's not here and I don't need to think about him. He can't be here unless he can tell me truths. He wasn't doing that. That's why he's not with me now. I got to move on. And I just feel like that attitude of like, it seems kind but matter of fact, and it's also kind to herself. And I think that at least that's how I would view this, because we don't see devastation, we don't see hurt, we don't see pain. We see her making her way through this world, possibly making a lot of money, certainly making a really nice life for herself without him. She has a 10 of cups already. And I will say this, I don't think that she hits a 10 of cups in like a flood. I think her 10 of cups has trickled into her life because I do think she's a really hard worker. Like I said, it's all the little tiny cogs, all the little tiny things that she puts together in her life. It's all the different little, you know, when we look at a palette of colors to paint with, you need all those colors of the rainbow to create the life that you're going to have. So, and here we see that the 10 of cups has trickled in, not a flood. She didn't suddenly have this huge surge of abundance. She's worked really hard to piece together all the things in her life that make her life wonderful at this point. So she's in a very good place, but let me tell you, she earned it. He's worked really hard in his right too to get beyond the stuff from her, or excuse me, from his past, right? He did a bunch of work to figure out how to accept his own like very kind of traumatizing past. We see her as someone, we don't know if she had a traumatizing past, but we do see her as somebody who's a little bit more matter of fact. I would definitely say has more tools in her toolkit than he did certainly at the beginning of this, because she has a lot of confidence in herself, right? And she has this real practical, pragmatic way to look at the world, but then she's also always moving toward great happiness. She is not here to suffer. She's not here to be miserable. And I think that that's a really important way to describe her. She is nobody's pity party. She is nobody needs to feel sad for her. She's like a creator. She's a grower and a mover and a doer. She's having a great life with or without him. But I have to say, he knows, I didn't do right by her. It shouldn't have gone that way. There was no reason for me to have run away from her other than we can see exactly why he had a reason to do that. But the bottom line is he did really love her even back then. He wanted to be an emperor in her life, but then did the exact reverse, right? Did a 180 and split. So at this point, we got a good look at her. We got a great look at him. So I guess the only question left is, we already know that his destination is her. We saw that in the very beginning. We see him moving toward her with a sense of fearlessness, with a sense of confidence. We see him coming in as her mate, her match. We see him with long-term intentions. So let's just go back real quick just to the Chariot and the Fool card there, because that's That was a long time ago. That was 44 minutes ago. We are like on his journey right now, right? We're we're rolling on the miles along with him. We could have driven, at least, well, probably about 60 miles by now. We have got that Seven of Pentacles, and we got this Ace of Wands. So we had an Ace of Wands way back here. That was our second card out. I'm finally ready to live in my present. I'm ready to go after what I want. I'm ready to live my present life and my best life. And we see him with this cheetah, so he is moving fast toward her. And if he is traveling, don't be a lead foot. Don't drive too fast. Don't be a cheetah. Don't go over the speed limit. Sorry, but I have to warn him about that because he's in a car here. And we don't want to be racing, or you can get a big old fat ticket or cause an accident. So you got plenty of time to get to her. A little bit more delay or going the speed limit is not going to change anything. But we can see him possibly already spying on her. This says it's in a week. To me, the Seven of Pentacles says it's in a week's time. He is headed her way. So he could be quite a distance. This may be quite a travel that he has to take, or maybe he needs to take his time. And like I said at the very beginning, I felt like they had a destination, but they were going to stop and like camp here. They're going to stop and hike to this mountain here. And he needs to do it for himself. This is not because he's scared. This is not because he's trying to buy himself time. This is all part of his actual like step-by-step journey of I'm on my way to her. She's my destination. But he makes decisions that are true for himself now. He really operates according to who he is. Now, I think during this time, he needs some moments to like sit with himself. But I think he's going to spend those moments like on his phone staring at pictures of her or something. There's something about him spying on her for sure. Oh my God, Queen Bee, thank you, Angel. Thank you so much. You're so generous. Thank you, Queen Bee. You're so kind, sweetheart. We've got this Four of Pentacles. He needs to be able to sit and kind of think a little bit. And I even think looking at her, staring at her, I think that he's got some kind of like, I don't know how else to say this. It's going to sound so cheesy anyway I say it, but she, like looking at her is kind of like these sweet little nuggets of like, I don't know, like honey nuggets or something. There's something nice. It's like she's already like fulfilling him. It's more real that like she is this amazing like gift that is somehow still, I'm not going to say that he was like reserving her for later on when he was ready to show up in her life, but I think looking at her, I think he's more or less falling more in love with her as he journeys toward her and pauses and kind of gets a glimpse of her, and it, evaluates in his mind again, God, this is somebody who's so amazing. This is so much like confidence that all this time there's this amazing person. I loved her at the beginning. Then I kind of screwed it up. I ran away, but she's even better than I remember. I feel like he's falling more for her on his way toward her. And it's like he has stored up a lot of really good vibes for her. I feel like by the time he actually arrives face to face with her, he is ready to like give the biggest offer there is, which is to give one's whole heart. He already knows she is not someone that he has to question. I think he knew that this was the person for him the first time he ever met her. I think that he was aware of that. And it's like, I know there's been a gap of time, but in some respects, it's like there's been no time. Because the way he wanted to offer a long-term commitment right from the beginning, as an emperor, this is him actually doing it. This is him showing up prepared to give his entire heart. I mean, he already has. The thing is, your heart is a funny thing, right? You can say that you're, I wanted to protect my heart. I wanted to give my heart. And you can say all those words, but you know what? Your heart already decided what it was, how it felt. Your heart already held on to the memory. Your heart already loved her. So you can physically run from her, but it didn't matter. Your heart was still in love with her all this time. It's like, yes, but now I can fearlessly hand it over to her. Big change. There's that death card. I do think his approach is going to be He didn't have it pre-planned. We knew he was moving toward her without any fear, but I don't know that he would have. I mean, he may literally come in and like with a marriage offer. It may be that significant. It may be like, this is it. The whole thing is just laid on the table. His approach winds up being different than he would have even guessed. And it is because on this journey toward her, it's the moments to pause and reflect. And I think he's realizing just how important this relationship is. There is not an ounce of confusion. There's not any other way to do things. He is coming in with the most certain attitude I've ever seen. That Seven of Cups is in the reverse. There's not even a question mark about what he's offering. King and Queen of Cups. Okay. I would not be surprised at all if he comes in and actually presents a ring, asks her to marry him. Like literally not even a hello, but like, will you marry me is like the first words out. It's definitely like his confidence in this relationship is growing over this next week. And it's not even his confidence. The confidence was never not there. It's the, what is it that I am ready to do? This is him like completely, I'm picturing like something that is fitting into, and I don't even know what I would call it, but you know how satisfying it is, let's say when you are building something and you put a bolt on and it tightens it up and everything like cinches into alignment. Like that's the satisfying thought process in my mind right now, is like, this clicks. They are gelled. In his mind, this is it. That's why I'm saying he's ready to be married, like now. And I don't mean that they have to go to the courthouse or go get a, marriage license. I mean, she has to decide when she wants to say yes to this. But in his mind, he's not going anywhere. In his mind, this is it for life. Six of Swords. I don't know. I don't know where she's at, but he may have to reel her back and ask her to come back around. Can you see me as your forever partner? Two of Pentacles. For her, she's not in the same place as him, right? What she got from him before is serious, and then you split. And then I made peace with it. And remember, she's kind of practical. And she's put him out of her mind for a long time. And now, he comes in and he's all ready to go get married. You can't expect her to suddenly be on your personal internal journey with you. She's had a whole different journey, one that you weren't a part of. And her life is the 10 of Cups already. So does she want to say yes to him so quickly, or does she want to like observe him for a little bit first before she decides what she's going to do? Does she need to know that he's not full of shit? Does she need to remember she didn't have all the pieces of information? She dealt with some raw facts. He said he wanted me. Then he got wiggy and I actually had to block him and he ran. So that's what she's still working with. Now he comes in a whole new shiny penny. And it's like, are you full of shit or are you this real and serious? And she's like, you literally could go either way. You could be the biggest, fattest liar on the planet. You could be here to mess with me. You could be somebody I shouldn't trust as far as I can see you. Or you could be everything you just said you were. A man who has grown, a man who's gone through a whole experience in life, a man who is completely certain, or you could be full of shit. I mean, talk about having to go either way. Now, that doesn't mean that she doesn't love him, but she, again, being practical, he's the one who's been erratic, right? So we have to cut her some slack here. Knight of Swords, this is really fast. I think she's going to say, this is you being balls to the walls, ready to go. But I got to know if you're the King of Pentacles. I got to know if you're my King of Pentacles. I kind of think she does know, like somewhere in her mind, but I still think the pragmatic side of her might say, great, so if this is all real, there's really no reason to have to rush. She may believe it right out of the gate. She may be able to smell it on him, the difference in him, the energy of him. But I still, even if she knows it in an instant, I still say she's going to be like, but is it bullshit? Am I lying to myself? A pragmatic person is probably, especially when you deal with facts. Here's what history told me about you, and now you're back and you're oh so different, and it's all systems go. I may actually be able to feel the difference in you, but I still have to have facts to back this up. I kind of expect her to operate more like that. Also, if you're here for forever, what's the rush? Why do we have to instantly? I don't have to give instant trust. We have the 10 here, which is the Wheel of Fortune. She can see the difference. She can feel the difference. She may only hesitate a brief minute to say this might be BS. On the other hand, it seems so sudden, but also so real. It feels like it's the right time. She may be all in. I really did not think so. I really thought she was going to be like, yeah, no, don't think so. I need to see more of this. Oh, I don't love this. It says that she may go ahead and be like, let's live together and see how it goes. And she may be scared about doing it. Universe, do you want to weigh in? This thing is so long already. What's one more card? Because my instinct on this is if you're scared still, you might sabotage it at this point. If you're saying, okay, I want to believe this. I don't know if I do. I mean, deep down, I think I do. I can tell that he's different. I can tell this is the right time. So let's move in together. But you know what? I'm still freaking out. I don't know if that's a great plan. Shouldn't you wait until you have no freak out? Why again, if it's going to be for forever and it's going to be real, why even rush? 9 of Cups says she should do what genuinely makes her happy. So if it's like, wow, it's great, you're back, she doesn't have to say, well, if I don't say yes to him, he'll probably leave. No. She shouldn't shake anything up in her life for him at all unless it suits her. If him moving in is what she wants, great. If moving in with him is what she wants, great. If she says, I like my life just as it is, we can see how it goes with you and I, like to try dating. Whether I'm, like 100% about this yet or not, I don't know. It just says she's got to do what actually makes her happy, because doing something that then you're going to feel all nervous about. 2 Sacred Circles. It's about the balance that needs to happen. To me, this keeps saying she shouldn't jump to do anything or change anything in her life to accommodate him. It's not to be rude. It's just that she's got to be able to feel like they're connected again, and that there is a bond that is really stable. Here they are wrapped in the flow of the infinity symbol, right? These two are divine counterparts, and their time to be together is now, for sure. We can see that. But her emotional state about the weirdness of what she dealt with them in the past, and the fact that now she's supposed to flip a switch, even though she wasn't on that journey with them, but now they're back and she's supposed to rearrange her life. This says, oh, hell no. She doesn't rearrange anything. Let the bond start to build first. Then you can see how the two of you blend. But she shouldn't be adapting to him to make it so that she makes big changes in her life for him until they've built a bond. And then she'll have the confidence to jump in wholehearted. Then she too can fall in like the fool, no hesitation, no fears. I like that way better, because this was giving me like, that doesn't look good. Why are you moving in with somebody if you're like, but I still think that this could just be a nightmare. And they might, if you're 50%, I think this is bullshit. 50%, it's 100. He's awesome. 50%, let's move together. 50%, oh, I'm probably going to regret this. That just does not feel like confidence to me. That does not feel like the way to start this. It feels like she's got one foot out and she's doing something that she's not ready to do yet, even though she's like, but I think this is the right person and I think this is the right time. In fact, I know it is, but the confidence isn't there yet. So I actually really like the fact that it's like, you don't have to budge at all. If he's the right one, if he's all in, if he's nuts about you and only you and has to be with you, the two of you will figure out how to, build this bond so it feels secure and safe. So then you can wholeheartedly jump in, but don't rush it. Don't alter anything in your own personal life to suddenly have to be with him when you still have a fear, because you cannot do this with fear. I don't think. I mean, what do I know? You knew anything you want, but that just didn't look very stable. Four of Cups. Yeah, he may be bummed that she can't, jump into his arms when he's like, oh my God, I'm ready for all this. I'm ready for all this. He may be like, I get why, we have to build that bond first. I regret that it even made you have to worry that maybe 50% of you thinks that I'm full of crap now. When I loved you at the beginning, I love you now. I want so badly to be in this connection, but I wanted to before and I left. I regret that I did that about something I was already sure about. There is a repercussion here. And it's not a punishment like now you get to sit and wonder. It's not that. It's more like for these two are ending up together, right? We can see that. We know that. The trick is to make sure that they don't move in together or start something until there isn't any doubt, there isn't any fear, until basically they know each other really. And not just from the like, I'm positive that I'm supposed to be with you. And she's over here going, yeah, I'm positive I'm supposed to be with you, but I'm still scared because I can know that I'm supposed to be with you and you can still leave me. You know you were supposed to be with me, but you still left me. That's the part that we got to get beyond that worry for them to really gel as stable, long-term belief in the commitment. The thing that shook this so bad and the thing that they're dealing with or grappling with right now is that if you already knew that it was me you needed to be with, how did you walk away from me? Now, again, we can understand exactly how and why, right? This is not to be like, shame on you. It's just that it was more about the timing for these two, but definitely they needed to get to that place where now that there's no more running, they both have to be 100% equal in wanting to jump forward. And yes, he has a regret that, that indecisiveness or the withdrawal thing that he did ever occurred, because now they have to get over that and believe in the confidence of this connection. Okay. And final, is that coming out? What is it? With the Ace of Swords. It's probably, yeah, okay, so it is going to fall. It ended up upside down. This is the Sword of Clarity. This is the sword, especially in this deck, where two people have to have absolute certainty. If there's any clouds in the mind, that can't happen. As soon as there's no more clouds, then this is all systems go. So it's just a matter of like, they need to be around each other for a while before they, re-embark on some, big bond that we're lovers and we're going to be great together. That's just not feasible. Especially, I don't even think it should be. I think that this storyline makes a lot of sense, that we can see the journey, we can see the amazingness of it, but we can also say this one is it's so much more realistic, because it's like, yeah, but you know what? There is no huge rush to instantly give one another all their trust. Build the bond now and be consistent. And that's where they're at. All right, I'm going to leave this very lengthy one here. I'm sorry it became an hour. That was so not my intention. I thought it was going to be like 15 minutes. All right, you guys, I will be back later on this evening. I'm going to be gone for a couple hours, and then I'll be back and we'll do some zodiacs on the other channel. And then at 10 o'clock tonight, I'll be back over here on this channel. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Rhiannon, great to see you. Lisa loves camping. RS, Denise, again, thank you, Angel. You're so sweet. Thank you. And thank you again, Queen Bee. Everybody's so great to catch you. Oh, Christy, you're so cute. I'm sorry that you were struggling with losing your phone at sea. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I'm sure that's really stressful. But on the other hand, I'm so glad that you're in the south of Italy. Oh, I love the south of Italy. That's beautiful. I never did make it to Sorrento, but I went down to Naples and then across to Ischia, which is, I never made it to Capri, but oh, I adore Ischia. Contented Tiger, I'm in the Pacific time zone. So like right now it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here. Arts and Tariffs. Hi, Lori. Orblements, thank you for being here. Violet's in the house. Sunflowers, moonflowers, Tasha, Chrissy. Oh, Chrissy, you're so sweet. It was probably AC, but it could have also been Kit the Kid. It could have been Signs and Sinks. There were so many gifters of memberships lately. San Moy, great to see you. Heather Cowdrick, thanks again, Sierra. Enslaved Princess, Robin, AC, Annie S, Nabila, hey, hey. Hi, Angel. Weavy, great to see you. April Fresh, and thank you again, EM. You're so sweet. So good to see you guys. Champersink, T-Baby, Sonara. Meow said the cat. Love it. Blessed Star, hi. Ever evolving Alicia. All right, you guys, I will be back in a while. Nora A, Dwanette Raven, Kim Ramey, good to see you. Yes, indeed, Ken. I call Aries Tatanka a lot. I love Dances with Wolves, and I love I love buffaloes. Buffalo happens to be my like power animal, if you will, and so I've always been really drawn to them. Hi, Lily, Sexy Senator Sag, Timothy Gorman, wonderful to see you also. Oh, yum! What are you having for dinner tonight? Godzilla MC, wonderful to see you. Do you have rain on your birthday today? Happy birthday, honey. Eduardo Jimenez, wonderful to see you, love. I wish you an emperor as well. You deserve that. Voyager 2, Sandy. Thanks again, Dwayne. Great to catch you. Hi, Renee. Patricia Bucator. All right, you guys. And Sheeta Chatu, wonderful to see you, hon. I'm going to bounce on out, and I will be back in a couple hours. T.A. Cahill, I see you up there. Almost missed you. DLBJR, Johnny the Carnut. Thank you, guys. Oh, I know, Lily. That was a great film. I love Dances with Wolves. The music in it was really good, too. Farrell Russ, hi. All right, you guys. Take care. I'll see you later. Bye.